Toastmasters, most welcome guests, sons and daughters of amazing fathers. I know your dads are wonderful, but the most wonderful dad ever is mine. Absolutely objective. That is my father and I. I wasn't sure if it's okay to be naked in Toastmasters. That's a photo. And that's a photo from half a year ago with my sister, my husband, and myself. I wanted to tell you a little bit about my father. He looks like a fantastic, nice man. He never calls me Marina. He would call me Marinachka, and some of you who speak Russian will understand it's an endearment. Or Varishune, especially when he says that, I know that he means something. He knows when he can be so nice that you cannot just say no, because he will still make you do whatever he wants. But the most interesting thing about my dad that rubbed me as well, that he's curious. For example, he can call me at 5 a.m. on Saturday. He lives in Israel and ask, what time is it in Vancouver? And you can imagine when you get a call at 5 a.m. on Saturday, you cannot fall asleep after because you're worried. You're in a state of shock. He can call you at 1 a.m. just to make sure you're doing okay. Did you call me today? And now as he knows how to use Viber and Skype and other technology, he can call you on all devices to make sure you're doing okay. But to tell you, my father has 2 clocks in his place. He has a clock that has Vancouver time. He has a clock that has Israel time. He still calls us anytime he wants, just to make sure. The most interesting thing about my dad, that he is the walking encyclopedia, we say in Russian. He knows so much, and he is curious about anything. For example, he can go to a theater, and instead of enjoying the theater, he will be calculating how much money they made, and he'll estimate how many people showed up, what is the average price of the ticket, what was sold, and that will occupy him for the entire performance. He's really good about that. He is a business person. He can calculate things you'll never imagine. But I want to tell you an absolutely true story that happened to me in March. I'm in touch with my parents all the time, Viber, Skype, and technology. And we then went to Denmark to give formal presentations, my husband and I. I gave mine, my husband was giving his, and I decided to run back home to the hotel to freshen up, to be ready for the dinner. And I made a mistake to call my dad just during those 40 minutes. I wanted to say, Pop, I'm doing okay, don't worry. However, I guess he had a lot of time with it. So he started quizzing me. So he started asking me all those things about Denmark. And it got to the point where I thought I'm going to email him, let me Google that for you. You probably know this website, but then I felt it's rude. How can I do it when he is curious? He wants to know more about Denmark. He doesn't want to Google it up for himself. So instead of dressing up nicely and thinking how it will look, I sat down next to Skype. I opened Wolfram Alpha. I opened Denmark, Canada, Israel, and started answering his questions. For example, what is the population density of Denmark? What an important question to know. Not a big deal. Thanks God, Wolfram Alpha knows that. I reviewed the population of Denmark, the area of Denmark, the ratio of the area of Denmark without or with Greenland compared to Israel and Canada. I reviewed the natural resources of Denmark. I did the whole thing in all 45 minutes. I didn't change, I didn't do anything. I was just responding to the quiz questions by my father. I knew the GDP per capita in Denmark, the percentage of money that they spend on education, the number of professors in Copenhagen, knew everything that one might know. Not only that, I knew the rating of Denmark on the world map in terms of how much they spend on education, how many secondary teachers they have in Denmark per capita as compared to Canada and other important places. My father drove me crazy. It was just, and he kept asking, and he would say, Marishunya, what do you think about this question? And after he says it, what can I do? I'll just Google it up and I respond. And that's how he looks looks, he's very cute and nice, but you drive him crazy with questions. So I was doing all this. I stopped when we reached the population, the expectancy, the age, I forgot, life expectancy of Denver compared to other places. If you want to know, I'll give you all the information, or you can Google it out if you want. But then my father didn't stop. He started asking me about the writers. I read Anderson, but it was almost, that was it. Luckily, I knew I love Victor Borge. Maybe you've heard about him. I just love him. I knew a few other people, but my father didn't stop. I had to know the painters and other people from Denmark. I was sweating. I was so nervous. Obviously, I knew about Niels Bohr, but my father said, how can you go for dinner and you don't even know about other physicists from Denmark? I'm sitting there and doing a review. So imagine that after this whole thing, we go to a restaurant. Valerie comes after he's talked, he's very happy, relaxed, and I come where my head was just ready to explode. And I cannot even tell him what I had to go through because we are with hosts. We have to be nice. So we go to a very expensive restaurant. We go, it's very, very nice. We sit down and we start a nice talk. And then the host tells us, oh, you know, Denmark is a small country. We have a population of only 5 million people. And I said, no, it's not 5 million. It's 5,325 and 46 according to the census of 2012. They sit, they wait. They sit, they think, okay, she's just a little crazy. Then they ask, because they know I'm from education, Valerie is a physicist, they say, yeah, the issue of Denmark, we don't do as well on international tests because we don't invest enough into education. I'm saying, no. You spend this much money per student of this age, of this bracket. So you cannot imagine what those people, they look at each other. And then they say, yeah, but we are surrounded by countries that are much bigger than us. For example, Norway and Sweden, they have a lot of resources. And here I thought, oh, Israel is a great comparison. It's a tiny country with no natural resources. And here I gave the whole comparison of Denmark with Israel and how those countries do when they have no natural resources. The guys who were sitting there, they were in the state of shock. I didn't tell Valerie, why would I know that? And I tried not to smile. I was absolutely serious. And then at the end, I could see they wanted to ask me something. So they said, why would you know that? And I said, everybody in Canada knows that. I have to tell you that we made a huge impression. Valerie, under the table, was pinching me because he couldn't understand what was going on. But it was not only that. Luckily, before coming to Denmark, I told you I was learning Duolingo. So I decided I will just learn a couple of phrases. I'll just say thank you in Danish. Danish is not an easy language like to learn. It's similar to German, but not the same. So at the end of the dinner, not only we give them all those facts, we also thanked them in Danish for a wonderful dinner. It was fantastic. Now, I had to call to my dad after and apologize. I don't know if it was serendipity or not. It could have been, and probably it is. And he's much more experienced, and he knows that when you're going to meet somebody, bother a little bit to find out about that. It's not about you, it's about them. And he was nudging me to learn it. And as much as I felt he was annoying me, he did something very, very special. What is the result? The result is that our hosts in Denmark think that Canada has the best education system. And I'm sure when they come back, they will be learning everything about Canada. I'm sure they will not want to not look serious as compared to us. And here I want to say thank you to my amazing father who had been by my side all the time. And he has an amazing sense of humor. When I told him the story, I'm sure it made him smile as well. Thank you.